Did you know that you could be completely sold and hardcore standing on your beliefs in your mind, in your heart, and be prideful? Lack 100% humility. So you think you're doing the right thing, standing on the right thing, sticking to your guns, thinking that you have the right moral high ground. But at the same time, it's all about you and not God's will. This is the Warrior Podcast, episode 141. And I'm going to try to briefly share with you the time God exposed my pride. One of many, but this is the most recent. So, how can I bring you up to speed on how this happened? Because it's a pretty in depth story, and I'm going to try to keep it very, very short and succinct. So, it goes like this. As some people know, I have 3 daughters, and they're all above the age of 20. 2 are married now, and one's still with us at the house that's slowly preparing herself for the next season of life. Well, my second daughter dated a guy from early high school on and off up until getting married to him. And early on in their involvement, him and I butted heads. And it's just one of those natural things that happen when you bring a new person into your life. But I'd made my mind up in that moment back then that he was not the one for my daughter. And I had my reasons, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, whatever the case may be. And I felt like I was standing on solid principles of why I'd made that decision. And the thing was, I'd made my mind up. And here's the thing, at that moment, I probably was correct. But as things evolved and changed, and God does what God does, I refused to see these things. I'd already made my mind up. I'm standing on that. Let it be written, let it be done, kind of thing. As I start to say it, you can see the flaw in it. See, here's the problem, is that we can start off in the right direction and slowly go off the rails. That's how sin is in our life. That's how pride is in our life. That's how arrogance happens, is that we really love being in the right. Rightly so, because that's what we're designed to be that way. When we're following God, we're going to feel that way. And we have this sense of purpose and meaning behind it. We feel like all the powers of heaven are joining us in this crusade. But then things evolve and change because God does what God does. He's going to unfold his majesty of his grace and how he does it. But we need to be in sync with him, not with our own desires and will and what we think is kind of done. So back to my point, things change in their life, and God slowly started to bring them together to eventually be married. Well, I'm naturally going to pray, Lord, if this reunion, if this relationship's of you, then let it hit the gas and get to where it needs to go. Because, I'm not a big fan of dating and things of that nature. I think if God's going to put two together, he's going to put them together. Long engagement stuff, I don't really see the plan of it. That's a different thing. If it's not of your will, my prayers, then dissolve this quickly. Well, it wasn't dissolving quickly. It wasn't dissolving at all. It was going to the next level. And what do? Hey, Lord, I don't know if you're hearing me or not, but if it's not your will, let it end. Let it end quickly. If it is your will for them to be together, let it ramp up. Well, I only saw what I wanted to see. Naturally, they got married. He's a wonderful blessing to our family, but ultimately God revealed to me in that moment that I don't work for you, you work for me, basically. And see, this is how things always go in our life. We can get so wrapped up in what we think is God's will that when he alters it or there's a nuance to it or the train shifts and we're one of the carts behind the train or however you want to do that, we want to keep going the direction we think he should have been going, or we already plotted out ahead of time how it's going to go. When in reality, Jesus says that the Spirit moves like the wind. You don't know where it comes from, where it's going. So are those that follow after him that are born again. And so we need to be listening and succinct with God's will all the time in prayer, reading his word, seeing the situation, seeing the things around us. Jesus said you can see the seasons change. You make all these predictions based on what you see, but yet you don't see the movement of God. And that's the thing is we get so locked into what we think it is, we miss what it actually is. And it's our pride. We are to serve his will ultimately. See, in my Man on Purpose blueprint, this is one of the key foundations of the warrior is understanding God's will, understanding the mission, and then how to walk in that daily, weekly, monthly, yearly for the rest of your life, how to walk in that so that we don't fall in these traps. So even during the lessons of God showing me how to help lead men like yourself, women, into his will by following this blueprint, God takes opportunities to show me how I'm violating it. And that's how God works. Because let's be honest, he chastises those he loves. He disciplines those that he cares about, his sons, his daughters, for his great glory. All right, guys, as always, I hope you were edified, encouraged by this. I know that even just speaking it, I was. If you like the content, if you want to continue to see it, you want to continue to get an understanding of this blueprint that God's put on my heart, continue to watch the videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the little bell so you get the notification so you don't miss one of these episodes. All right, God be with you. Stand to fight. Until next time, peace.